When it comes to looking up what are the best neighborhoods in St. Petersburg, Florida, you're going to get all the good ones. You're going to get Kenwood, you're going to get Old Northeast, but what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the information online that you see on the best and most popular neighborhoods in St. Pete, that has changed so drastically. And a big part of that is because of the two hurricanes. A ton of buyers now, a ton of relocation buyers specifically, are not wanting to mess with flood zones. And because of that, neighborhoods like Crescent Heights have just exploded over the years. And so in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about living in the neighborhood of Crescent Heights. Why do people love it? Is it for you? What can you expect when it comes to the walkability? How does it compare to neighborhoods that are just adjacent to it and historically have been incredibly popular and at a much higher price point, like Old Northeast? And where does it rank in flooding? And how can you, what all can you expect when it comes to the lifestyle in Crescent Heights? And I'm here to tell you that Crescent Heights is one of my favorite neighborhoods in St. Petersburg, Florida, and we see countless people every year choose it as their dream destination of where they want to be and where they want to live in St. Petersburg, because the price points are good, it's not in a flood zone, and you get a really, really good variety of homes in Crescent Heights. And so we're really going to break down everything you need to know around making that decision, because Crescent Heights is a very small neighborhood. So for the sake of this video, I'm really going to talk about kind of all the areas south of 38th Avenue and kind of just in and around Crescent Heights, and go through everything that you need to know when it comes to what it really means to make a decision around choosing to live here or not. My name is Aaron Chan, and me and my wife Aubrey are realtors here in Tampa Bay, and we make these videos for folks like you who are thinking about relocating to the area, and we put these out every week, so check them out. But without further ado, let's jump into our neighborhood deep dive of Crescent Heights. Okay, so when it comes to the kind of the geography and the map, what do you need to know when it comes to getting your bearings for choosing to live in this area? And so the main road that you're going to encounter is 4th Street, which is right here. And it's actually a very, very busy road. It's not really a road that you find yourself walking on, but it is going to be the main road where you're going to have, there's a fresh market over there, and then we've got Trader Joe's opened up right next to it, yep, right down here. But you're going to have a ton of businesses, a ton of restaurants all along here, but not really a spot that you are going to be walking on. You can walk around there, but really where most people walk that are living in this area is they're walking in and around the neighborhood, and they are walking down here to Crescent Lake Park, because, guys, this is one of the best parks to situate yourself around when it comes to living in St. Pete. We'll just pull up right over to it. Now, when it comes to the west side of Crescent Heights, there you're going to have MLK Boulevard. And MLK Boulevard is going to also have, similar to 4th Street, a ton of businesses along it. Again, not really a spot that you are going to be walking around, but there are still some really notable, really famous, really iconic restaurants. For instance, guys, when you're down here, you got to check out Tripp's Diner. I didn't know about it for a long time, and it's embarrassing, but it's a good spot. So there's Tripp's Diners, and there's other spots like El Cap. There's also a really good Mexican Thai fusion restaurant here on MLK near Crescent Lake. But that really gives you the gist of the area. In terms of this whole area north of the park where you're living on the west side of 4th Street, the only thing you need to know is as you get near 275, obviously, you're going to start hearing 275, but that really only starts at really, really close to it. Other than that, it's mostly the same, mostly quiet. You get a mix of paved brick roads, but then you also, the majority of them are going to be just kind of your standard like you see through the rest of the city. Now, when it comes to how far is Crescent Heights from downtown St. Petersburg, really, guys, this is where it is a ways. You're mostly going to be driving. You're not really walking to downtown. You totally can, and it is a nice walk. You're going kind of in and around the neighborhoods. You're not really necessarily, there's not a lot to see, but it's a nice, quiet walk. But it's nothing like, I tell people, like Kenwood, because if you really want to be walking distance to everything or all the majority of things that there is to do in St. Pete, and you want to be in a single family home, Kenwood is really a good spot, or even the historic Warehouse Arts District is awesome as well. But these spots right here and around the Edge District are going to be the most walkable. Up here in Crescent Heights, though, guys, again, the reason people love this spot is you're able to get more size for the home, and you are not in a flood zone, and the prices are actually lower than Old Northeast, which is in a flood zone. And I would not be surprised if historically Crescent Heights just ended up being more valuable when it came to the non-waterfront properties than some of the spots in Old Northeast, because unless you are in iconic neighborhoods like the Coffee Pot Bayou or in and around Coffee Pot Boulevard or in Snell Isle, really on Old Northeast, like, yes, it's spectacularly beautiful over here on this side, but in terms of what you're getting, guys, here, we popped it in an alley, but in terms of what you're getting, very much similar to on the other side, where you are in Crescent Heights. I will say, typically you'll find more historic properties on this side because the price point here has been higher historically, and so there's been people have wanted to renovate the homes in Old Northeast more so than Crescent Heights, but I do believe that is changing, and has already been changing and will continue to see that change, just because people are seeing the value in historic homes more so in general. And St. Pete's kind of building a culture around it, which is pretty cool, because for your sake, then knowing kind of what styles to expect and what you can find is huge. Okay, let's talk about flood zones and property types. So when it comes to flood zones, the nice part about just the Crescent Heights area, specifically inside of the general neighborhood area, you are not at risk at all. You are in flood zone X, and so you don't have to worry about flood insurance or any of that. And really, guys, even going north of Crescent Heights, you don't have to worry about that for the majority of the way up until when you get to like 54th Avenue. But like I said, when I go down to Old Northeast, yes, not a lot of it is in a flood zone, but just the overall, and this is kind of a problem too, and I want this to change, but even the notion of all of Old Northeast is in a flood zone is just false. Like, it's not. It's a very small portion of it. And again, guys, when you're buying a house like this, there are ways to take iconic properties like the ones you'll see in and around, like, for instance, the Coffee Pot Boulevard, and bring them up to a standard where you don't have to worry about flooding anymore. My name is Aaron, and me and my wife Aubrey make these videos for folks like you that are thinking about relocating to the area. And if you are interested in relocating to Tampa Bay, then definitely go on to our website. The QR code is on the screen. You can go on here. You can read all about all the reviews and stories of other relocation buyers that have gone through it as well. But yeah, I was like, how do I make the simplest website ever? Well, just make it easy. People can book a call, read reviews. Simple. Now, in terms of the property listings here in Crescent Heights, let's see what we can jump into. What are some of what's going here? So you definitely a range. You're definitely going to see a big range of properties and also limited inventory. And what I like to tell people about that is this doesn't necessarily mean that there's nothing coming up or there's nothing in your price point. It just means that when something does come up that does work, because there is a huge variety. There's new construction, there's old homes, there's renovated, there's unrenovated. Stuff that is priced well typically does go fast because so many people see the opportunity in this neighborhood. Honestly, guys, the main reason I would say that it is popular is because it just appeals to everything, almost everything that people love about moving to St. Pete. It's got walkability, it's got a decent price point, it's got not being in a flood zone, it's got character, it's got a variety of options, it has investment potential when it comes to the ADUs, you can live near a city. But anyhow, when it comes to the overall vibe, guys, here's just what you can expect. But we are going to later in this video show you what it looks like in Crescent Lake proper, and then we'll also go over ADUs, flood zones, and everything you need to know around that. But let me know in the comments, guys. Comment below. What are your thoughts about Crescent Heights so far? Does this intrigue you? Do you like the idea of being not necessarily at walking distance to downtown, needing a car, but still in a ultra active area where there is plenty to do outside and honestly a super cool lifestyle? So in terms of the decision-making process, you do not need to stay in Crescent Heights. Like, if I'm saying Crescent Heights is great and you're saying I love Crescent Heights sounds like me, guys, Greater Woodlawn, you're getting very much the same thing as you're getting in Crescent Heights. I'd say the main advantage of what's awesome about Crescent Heights specifically is the fact that you don't have to cross the busy road of MLK and the busy road of 4th Street to get to all the, like, you have kind of all these things just bordering the neighborhood. Trader Joe's on this side. You could walk to Trader Joe's. You could walk to Tripp's Diner. You could walk to Crescent Lake Park. And so on all corners, you got stuff going on within your immediate vicinity. But yeah, you got to drive to downtown, but you're not in a flood zone and you're in a lower price point, bigger home. There's a million reasons people love this spot. And if I haven't already got you excited about it, I don't know what will. But it is reassuring to know that you got plenty of options. And then again, like in the last video we talked about, guys, even going up as you go further north, really the vibe is very much the same. It changes a little bit once you get past 54th Avenue in terms of, like, I know people are just going to feel about it differently because it's not in a flood zone, but for the sake of a decision around Crescent Heights, the only thing that really changes with going up further north on this side of 4th Street is you get further from downtown. You get further from stuff like the lake and, you know, it is busier. There's more to do along MLK and 4th Street when you're closer to downtown. But apart from that, really, guys, it's the same. It's the same. There's plenty to do. Other stuff I'll mention, really iconic spots like Sunken Gardens is here near Crescent Heights. And then, yeah, there's so much to explore here that we couldn't even go over it all in this video. One thing I do want to say, guys, when it comes to traffic in Crescent Heights and living in St. Pete, is a lot of people see 275 here. And I remember talking to someone recently who assumed that they would be on this road a lot, but it's actually surprising how much travel you do east to west in St. Pete in your day-to-day. And what's nice about that is, you know, if one road is busy, there are multiple routes to get around. So really, east to west traffic is not that bad in St. Pete, which is awesome because all this stuff around Central and even the ability to get from downtown to the beach super quickly is just a big advantage of why this is the best coastal town in America right now.
All right, so Aaron showed you guys a really good visual of Crescent Heights on the map, but I wanted to give you guys a good idea of the lifestyle and the kind of homes that you can expect in Crescent Heights. So if you're somebody who is very particular and wants like 3 bedrooms, a garage, a pool, that sort of thing, it's going to be a little bit tricky to find a home in Crescent Heights that matches and checks all those boxes. But if you're somebody who likes a wide variety of home styles, who likes not so cookie cutter, who likes stuff that is going to be kind of quirky, then Crescent Heights is a great spot. It has a wide variety of different style of homes. The homes can be kind of close together, so that's something to keep in mind. But it has a lot to offer. It has everything that you can think of. So if you're somebody who doesn't like the uniform style, then Crescent Heights is definitely somewhere to consider. Now, in terms of lifestyle, the nice thing is Crescent Heights is mainly residential, so you do have the quietness of being in a nice residential neighborhood, but you still have a lot to do nearby. So you have 4th Street and you have MLK on the east and west of you. That has a lot of restaurants, a lot of popular restaurants, and also grocery stores. You can walk to Trader Joe's. You also have Crescent Lake Park. If you have kids that are interested in museums, there's the Great Explorations Museum, there's the Sunken Gardens. There's really a lot that area has to offer. And so you don't necessarily need to go downtown to experience all of this. And in and around your area, it actually is very walkable. MLK and 4th Street can get a little bit on the busier side, so that's something to keep in mind, but you are within walking distance to almost all the spots that I just mentioned, and so that is something really awesome. You're not in a walkable area when it comes to walking to downtown. You're quite a ways away from downtown when it comes to walking, but in terms of driving in a car or riding a bike, you are super close. So that's still an option if you wanted to go car free. You can still ride your bike to downtown, or you can still drive your car to get to all the things that downtown has to offer, like Vinoy Park, the pier, all the restaurants, all of the museums, all of that sort of stuff is super close to you via car and bike, but not necessarily walking. Another thing that I wanted to highlight about Crescent Heights is the people who live there are very proud and they love Crescent Heights. There's actually a neighborhood association, not an HOA, it's its own thing. It's a neighborhood association where you actually pay to be a part of the association, but they host a ton of events. They have a chili cook-off. They have open house stuff, exclusive events that are only for the people a part of the association. And it just seems like it's a really tight-knit community that really love and are proud of where they live. I saw that they even have merch on their website, so they definitely are very proud to represent Crescent Heights. And so that's something really cool. If community is a big deal to you, then you will be happy to hear that you are very close to Crescent Lake Park, which has ample opportunity to meet people in and around the Crescent Heights area. There's a dog park, there's pickleball, there is a nice playground. You'll see people walking around the park. Every time that I have been to Crescent Lake Park, it is always busy, and so that is something really nice. Somewhere where you can meet people who are have similar interests. So if you like pickleball, then you should go try out and check out the pickleball courts. If you have younger kids who love going to the playground, you are able to meet moms and dads who have kids similar age to you. Also, if you're one of those people who meets a lot of people walking their dog, there is plenty of opportunity for that. There's the dog park, and I always see people walking their dog in and around the Crescent Lake area. So if community is a big deal for you and you really love having an area where people just are very open, welcoming, and love to meet each other, then Crescent Heights and the Crescent Lake area are definitely a spot that you should consider.
When it comes to the homes in Crescent Heights, guys, really between Crescent Heights and Old Northeast, there is a lot of nuance, and it can be kind of confusing because in Crescent Heights, like I said earlier, there's a huge variety, not only in the age of the homes, style of homes, but also in the price of the homes. So here we got pre-1950 in Crescent Heights. You can expect that to be around $734,000. 1950 to 1979 is very mid-century, kind of 507, and frequency amount is definitely high. You definitely tons of historic bungalows definitely take precedence and dominance in the area. But also, one type of construction that has gotten super popular recently is just new construction. You can see like 26 listings, guys, in the last. And this, guys, is just a little bit of data gathering that I did where I took the active pending and sold for Crescent Heights the last 180 days for Crescent Heights, Old Northeast, and then the last 30 days for City of St. Pete, and just kind of compared them. If you guys would like this for whatever reason, feel free to reach out to us and I can provide it to you, but I know it's kind of boring for some folks, so we'll move on. But when I get into kind of talking about how there is a variety of homes, one thing that is super cool is you will see homes that are really needing to be updated. Maybe they haven't been updated recently. They're older, they're historic, they need a lot of work. And so you do see those, and so you can get it in at a good price point if you're an investor. But on average, guys, the price point here is around kind of that 750 range. You do see decent stuff like this one, this 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath with a pool for 635. But guys, look at this. It went in 2 days, and I think we talked about this house in an earlier video. But this is a beautiful home, Wood Homes, which is actually, funny enough, interestingly enough, in this document, it went and listed out the features most commonly mentioned, and Wood Homes was one on here that I thought was really funny and really interesting. But in any case, guys, when it comes to understanding Crescent Heights, like Aubrey said earlier, really there's no room for yards. They're very tight and very small, and so you kind of have to sometimes give up a pool or give up a backyard. Sometimes you can get all of them, but sometimes you can't. Usually you can't, and so this really is an area where you're having to compromise a lot. But for the most part, in terms of the style homes, you can expect Spanish Mediterranean, you can expect historic bungalow, you can expect really all the types. And so, yeah, that is Crescent Heights. And so one thing that I have been working on that I'm a little excited that I'll give you guys a sneak peek on, and this is just something that I've been using for my research, is just a better tool to do this, more of an AI tool. But I'm really wanting to make this free and available for everybody from the channel. But one thing that I do love about it is there are countless documents out there with resources on the area and just the history, and there's just all this stuff out there, and I'm like, man, I really wish this was easier to go through. I wish it was all available in even just one spot. And so what I did is I just kind of spent some time going and gathering all this, because this is all really, really important, good stuff for you to know that's available that the city of St. Pete has put together, but it's just really hard to go through this and to read through it. And so what I did was I took all of it and I gave it to Claude, and I'm having Claude just kind of summarize it and help me answer questions in my research. And so I asked it just kind of to give me a summary of the area, Crescent Heights, and kind of what to expect architecturally. And so what it said just kind of was spot on with what you could expect. Minimal traditional, definitely tons of Mediterranean, tons of Spanish colonial, a lot of wood frame homes, but also tons of bungalows. And in terms of the market analysis, what's cool is you can click in here and then it generates kind of a whole market analysis. And what's awesome is I get so frustrated with AI and ChatGPT because it says, oh, Zillow said this, and it quotes information from a long time ago. And so this is only going to be relevant as of March 14th. But for your guys' sake, in terms of what to expect in Crescent Heights, honestly, guys, it is an awesome, awesome variety of style homes. Even I'll just go back to this guide here, like definitely tons of two-doors, tons of mission revivals. Definitely check out this guide as well. Reach out to me. Let me know if you want this. It's not something that I have on our website, but if you want this, just text me and I'll send it to you. I love talking about this stuff. But this guide is awesome because it has the exact styles and just things to know. I use it all the time. I use this religiously for researching, and I'd just rather point you guys to the resources that I reference so much because I just know they're so helpful, and I know they'll be so helpful to my buyers, and that's what I want to be. I want to be the realtor that is here to help and is here to provide actual value. And so this stuff I'm working on. And but yeah, let me know if you guys want this. This helps me in my research as a realtor. If this is something that's interesting to you, then for sure let us know. But yeah, that's all I have for Crescent Heights, guys. I hope that was helpful. Again, my name is Aaron, and me and my wife Aubrey are realtors here in Tampa Bay. If this was interesting to you, then definitely check out more videos we have. We have another video on we have tons of videos on St. Pete and other areas, so check those out as well. But yeah, we'll see you next time.